Are you ready for what this fall could bring? We're stepping up our prepping with a massive bulk prepping haul. Hey guys, it's Jara with Wicked Prepared. Welcome back to the channel. Today I've got another Prepper Pantry haul for you. Even aside from everything going on around the world and right here in our own country, we are heading into fall and winter and everything that can mean. From hurricanes to blizzards to ice storms, there are a whole lot of things that could leave us in a lurch if we aren't prepared. There's absolutely no reason why anyone should not have enough on hand to cover their basic necessities: food, water, heat and cooking, medical needs, and backup power for at least a couple of weeks. If you don't have that covered, it's not too late to get started and get yourself some peace of mind. This week we have done a big bulk stock up haul on a lot of items. We got some amazing deals and some really interesting things as well. So let's jump right in. You can see I've got a pretty big amount of stuff here. I'm going to start right here in the front because I've got a few things here that I'm really excited about. I think this is going to blow your mind just as much as it did me. The first thing I've got here is a first aid kit, and this is not just any first aid kit. This is by far the most amazing first aid kit that I have ever seen. This is from a company called JumpMedic, so I'm just going to give a brief overview today because I'm going to be doing a full review video on this kit, so stay tuned for that. JumpMedic is a company that's based out of Oregon, and these kits are put together by an EMT with years and years of experience. So they basically absolutely know what you need to deal with any injury, any trauma, or any kind of emergency. And that's why these kits are so amazing. But you can see this is an amazing piece of kit just by looking at it. It's got a lot of stuff easy to grab already on the outside of the pouch, including a cat tourniquet. Very important. It does have a first aid guide along with some other things in this pocket, easy to grab. It's got a handle, a grab handle right here, along with another shoulder strap. But a lot of the things that you can quick and easy access, there is an emergency whistle, a CPR face shield. This is a pen light, which came with batteries already inside of it. Really good quality. A pair of trauma shears right here on the outside. This pouch right here has some things that you don't typically see in a first aid kit. There's actually a blood pressure cuff and a stethoscope inside of this pouch. That's one thing that sets this kit apart from a lot of other kits I've seen. It has a lot of sort of diagnostic and monitoring tools that you don't see in other kits. So to open this up, what I do is just take this zipper down here, zipper down right here, and then this is a Velcro, and look at that. Everything is really so well organized. Besides everything that you can grab on the outside, you can see they've got a couple of things holding tape and wrap right here. Everything is laid out right here. Easy for you to see. There's pockets on the sides. These are absolutely packed with gear and bits of equipment, and it's really like good quality stuff. It's not cheap, no-name brand stuff. I have seen brands in here that I have purchased that cost a good amount of money. They've got things like an Israeli bandage, compressed gauze, there's an emergency blanket, there's a thermometer, you've got cold packs, you've got hot packs. Little peek in here, they've got glucose meters. This is everything for glucose related emergencies. There's a pulse oximeter in here. If you look back here, there's actually a splint in here that I can't really get out, but I see some vented chest seals. This is from North American Rescue brand. These are really good quality, expensive items. I have purchased a lot of these in the past, and to find this kit absolutely packed with items like this is really, truly amazing. There is all kinds of different gear here, from personal protective gear for the person who's doing the first aid. I believe these are gloves right here, easy to access. Of course, we've got goggles here, light stick. There are so many different things for wound care and things like that. All sorts of different solutions. We've got irrigation syringes. We even have tools that I didn't recognize at all, like this, for instance. They do have a guide that tells you what everything is, so I figured out, I believe this is the ring cutter. You can flip these right out of the way, and this whole thing opens up in the back here, and there are other pockets back here. These zippers actually work really well, but I'm just doing this one-handed. So all sorts of different supplies. There is the pulse oximeter, biohazard bag. There's all sorts of different medications, all sorts of different wound care. It has bleed stop. I mean, these are all really good items that they have in this kit. We've got a sterile scalpel that's all packaged up in here. I mean, seriously, everything that I put into my trauma kit and more, everything that I have put into my first aid kits and more. This is an amazing kit, and it's so well organized. Like I mentioned, it does have a list of everything that's included with a diagram, so you can see everything that's in there, where it goes if you need to replace it, what it is if you're just trying to figure it out. So stay tuned, because I am going to do a full review of this kit so that you can see everything that's inside of it. I will put a link down in the description box below so you can go check it out in the meantime. This kit also includes this extra pack. This is a small empty pack. This one came set up just like this. Everything was already organized in it, just like this when it arrived to me. This one comes empty. So the basic idea is that you can separate some things out if you want to get your trauma items out and build a small portable trauma kit that's a little bit smaller, or any other type of materials you can put into this pouch. You can see it's got a Velcro tearaway panel. You open up inside, it's got all sorts of different pockets and straps to hold things. This is a great little bag in itself, and it's basically a bonus to this one. This company also sells refill sets, so if you use up some of the bandages, you use up some of the medications, things like that, you can order refills, or you could just refill it with items that you have at home. So stay tuned for the full review of this, because I cannot wait to really dig in and find every little treasure that is in this pack. This is a truly amazing first aid kit. The next thing I've got here is this little Presto Nomad. This is a slow cooker or a food heater for a mason jar. It holds a pint-sized mason jar. If you watch my meal in a jar videos, you might have seen me use one of these. I have one of these that I bought at Walmart several years ago. I am pretty sure it's been discontinued. I can't find them available in stores anymore, and I wanted to get another one because I really, really like this. I can do meals in a jar with my freeze-dried and dry ingredients, and I do a lot of quart jars that makes 3 to 4 servings, like a family-size meal, but I also like to do smaller meals, and if I divide that quart jar meal in quarters, it fills these jars about halfway. There's room for the water, and then you can put it right in this heater, and you can basically cook your meal right in the mason jar. And it is really amazing. It's got this lid where you could dump some cracker packs or, you know, condiment packs, whatever you wanted to do. It has a place for the cord to wrap around the base, so the cord's out of the way. There's no on-off switch with this. You plug it in, it comes on. It has a carrying handle because it's perfect for lunch. I mean, you could put leftovers in this and take it and heat it up anywhere. I just like to use it mostly for my dry meals in a jar, but I do have one, and I would like to be able to have some more of these. Some of my kids are getting close to college age. This would be perfect for a college kid in a dorm. My daughter works in the barn all day, so this would be great for her to make herself a meal, you know, in the barn. So I went to eBay to find this. I'll put a link down below to anything that I can find if you're interested in looking at this, and I'll also put a link to a video where I prepare a meal in this so you can see how it works. Next, I've got all these HamPeas. It's by the Hearst brand that makes the ham beans, but these are HamPeas, so it's split peas. This was a really good deal. These were 4 packs for $3 on the Walmart website. I posted this on my Wicked Prepared Prepping Deals and Steals Facebook group. Some people were able to get the deal and some people weren't. It seemed to depend on where you were shopping from or where you were clicking through. But definitely go over and follow that group on Facebook, because we find some really good deals. And a lot of people have said they've only been able to get certain deals through my links that I post. So it's a good place to be. Join the group, turn on the notifications. I did grab 4 sets of 4, so I got 16 of these. These are not just the split peas, because they also include a ham flavored seasoning packet. So it just makes it even better for prepper pantry meals. I typically make split pea soup with a ham bone, but if you were in a situation where you didn't have a ham bone, that ham packet would really come in handy. And I compared the prices, and getting this deal made the split peas themselves even cheaper per ounce than the cheapest deal I usually find. So this was a really great bargain. But you could take a pack of these, throw them in a bag with either canned ham or maybe just a can of some kind of Spam, some broth or some water bottles, and a can of carrots, sliced carrots, and you could make yourself a really nice soup that didn't require any refrigerated ingredients. I have some dry and powdered ingredients here. These are things that I like to use for my meals in a jar. If you're not familiar with the meals in a jar, we love them here. They are a mason jar, and you put freeze-dried and powdered and dehydrated ingredients in. And you take a jar and you just add some water and a brief cooking time and you have an amazing meal. They're great for emergencies. They've got a really long shelf life. They are shelf stable. You can make a whole bunch of them, have them on your shelf. So if you're ever in an emergency situation, just grab a jar, add some water, make a meal. I'm always looking for powdered versions of the ingredients that I use in my favorite recipes so that I can include them in my meals in a jar. So this is some sherry wine powder because I love to use cooking sherry in certain recipes. This is a pound. This was a little bit expensive. I have bought it before in a 2-ounce packet, which was really reasonable, but I do use quite a bit of it because I love the flavor. And so this was a little bit cheaper per ounce to go all the way up to a pound container because any of the other ones were the same price per ounce. But I use sherry in my stroganoff. So when I do a stroganoff meal in a jar, I use some sherry wine powder. Usually I just did a beef stroganoff soup meal in a jar that was delicious that I used this in. I've got this molasses powder. This is going to be more for baking mixes in a jar than it would be for meals, but there are some meals that you could use molasses in. So it's basically a sweetener. It's just to give that little molasses flavor to things like gingerbread, for instance, would use molasses. And this is a powdered version. It can also be used in rubs and as a seasoning and things like that, but I'm using it for meals in a jar. These are a couple dry salsa mixes that I came across. I have been desperately searching for freeze-dried tomatillos for a very long time. I've never really found them. I think I've seen them on maybe Etsy and things like that. But I found these 2 packets. This one here is a roasted tomatillo salsa. It's basically a single serve packet. You can see it's pretty small. This single packet was pretty expensive for what it was, but I think you can get a better deal on the multi-packs. But this one was going to come the fastest in the mail, and I really wanted to get it right away so I could start working with it. So from now on, I'll probably buy a multi-pack that's cheaper. But it is freeze-dried, and it does have tomatillos as part of the ingredients. It has a few other ingredients as well. I can't see the ingredients right here, but I saw them online. So this would be good for the types of recipes that I wanted the freeze-dried tomatillos for. And then this is a similar idea, but it is dehydrated instead of freeze-dried. And this one says green tomato salsa. So I was kind of hoping that by green tomatoes, they actually meant tomatillos. I can't really tell right now what this is going to taste like and if it's going to give the flavor that I want, but I thought it was worth a try. This one came as a 3-pack. And then I've got some freeze-dried foods here. I got a whole bunch of the freeze-dried stuff because there was just a really big sale. So I stocked up when the prices were really low. So I've got 2 single cans of meat here. I've got grilled chicken dices and beef dices. And freeze-dried meats are really great for your prepper pantry. They do have a 25-year shelf life, and they're completely free of moisture. They're a lot lighter than canned meats, and most people like the texture and taste, especially the texture of freeze-dried meats, much better than they do canned, for the most part. I also got zucchini. Now, this was a case of zucchini, so it was 6 of these number 10 cans, which are gallon-sized cans. This was on sale for 50% off, so that's why I grabbed this one. But we also do like to have this on hand to throw in certain recipes. I made a cheesy chicken and vegetable chowder meal in a jar that used the zucchini and the grilled chicken. It was really tasty. And then I also got a case of the butternut squash, and these are smaller cans. This is the pantry size can, which is about a quart size. So we've got a quart and a gallon. I buy things in the gallon size cans if it's available. Some items actually aren't available in this size, and I don't think the squash is anymore. I don't know why. But so I got a case of the pantry cans, which was 10 cans. And then I got this really big bag. This is 2 pounds, almost 3 pounds, and this is just Korean barbecue almonds. Nuts are a good snack to have in your prepper pantry. They're high in calories and high in healthy fats. They are not going to last as long as some foods. These are only going to last for a couple of years because nuts have a lot of oils in them. They can go rancid. But I have been able to keep nuts for quite some time before they actually go rancid, depending on the type of nut. If you can store them in your freezer, they're going to last a lot longer. Of course, we try not to rely on our freezer because that relies on the power grid, which you want to get away from when you are prepping. But these Korean barbecue are really tasty. I've had these before. I like to get the different flavored almonds. I get the salt and vinegar, the barbecue, these Korean barbecue, and this is kind of like my healthier substitute for chips because they're crunchy and they have some of the same flavors and they're much, much healthier. And here I've got a big bag of just plain white flour. This is a 25-pound bag. Of course, we do stock a lot of whole wheat berries that could be ground into flour, but we also store flour because we use flour all the time. I have yet to get myself to fully be able to use the freshly ground wheat berries for baking. I just don't have time to do it all the time. I know that I should be grinding them more and using them more to keep that stuff rotated. But wheat berries, whole wheat, is going to have a shelf life of 25 to 30 years. Flour is going to be a little bit shorter than that, but you're definitely going to get at least a few years out of it. And so we rotate through it pretty quickly. Here I've got a few more. These is a couple more powdered ingredients, True Lemon and True Lime. These I'm going to probably try in some meals in a jar. I usually, if I need a lemon or lime flavor, I usually use Thrive Life lemonade powder or lime juice powder from Firehouse Flavors. But I just got these to try and see if they would work the same or similarly, because these are a lot more easily accessible. I can get them ordered a lot faster to my house if I were to need them in a hurry. And so could, anybody else who watches the channel and wants to do some of the same recipes. And you can even sometimes find these at Dollar Tree in packets. Now here is a portable power bank. I am a big fan of power banks because keeping your phone charged is very important. That's one of your kind of most basic pieces of EDC. Your phone is really needed for things like communication. You've got tools on there, navigation. Your phone could track you if you were ever in a situation where you were lost and you needed to be found. So many things that we need our phone for. Besides, power banks can also be used to charge other things like rechargeable flashlights and things like that. Now, many of you might know this is my battery charger of choice. Really, this is the one that I typically use, and I have several of these. My family members all have them. I like that this one has the prongs that pull out and the cables that pull out for iPhone as well as Android phones and everything like that. This is 10,000 milliamp hours, and so is this one. So these are basically the same battery capacity. They're very similar, but here's a couple of differences. This one does not have the prongs, so this one has to be charged with a cable. That's the one thing that I wish it had, was the prongs. But I love that this has this little ring here that you could attach this onto a backpack or a purse or anything like that and just have it handy and not down inside your bag. Or even if it was inside your bag, you could attach it to one of the clips that they have for your keys or something. It does have the cables included for USB-C and for iPhone. It doesn't have the regular micro USB or whatever the other one is that's on this. This also has a spot to charge an Apple Watch, something like that, that lays across and charges. I don't have anything like that, so I don't think I'll use this part, but I do think that's handy for some people. And I do love the shape and size of this. It's a nice sort of rubbery feeling material, so it's got a good no-slip grip, and it feels like it would be a little bit more sturdy if it got banged up against things, which is nice. But I just loved this feature right here, and this feels really sturdy. The ring is very sturdy. It opens up like that, so I don't think it would very easily get knocked open and lose your thing that was hung up. It feels very sturdy. This part feels very sturdy. I really like this setup. Like I mentioned, this is a 10 milliamp hours, and this will charge my phone at least one full time, usually a little bit more. This is the same size, 10 milliamp hours, so this is going to be about the same capacity. They make this same charger in a 5 milliamp hours, so about half the capacity and a little bit smaller and lighter. I will probably try one of those as well here pretty soon. 18-month warranty, I just saw that, that's nice. But I like to make sure that no matter where I am, I have sufficient power to charge my phone and my device wherever I am. I like to make sure that my kids have that as well. If they're ever in danger and need to contact me, contact the police, I want them to have that option. I don't want them to be stuck with a dead phone. Sometimes they've had situations where their ride maybe didn't show up after school and their phone was dead. So I don't like them to be in that situation. So we have lots of power banks in this house. So I think that is a really big part of preparedness, is just being prepared for the everyday. And it would also come in handy in emergencies, making sure you had your phone. Even if there is no cell phone network available, there are tools on your phone that can work without the network. So here I've got a big bag of mustard seed. This is actually 4 pounds of mustard seed. Do you ever have it happen where you buy something and you say, I am never going to have to buy this again for the rest of my life? This will stay pretty good for a long time. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to put it into a mason jar and save it in that. I use this when I do things like pickles, relish, things like that. And so at this time of year, I might use quite a bit of it doing those things. And those are very important ways to preserve food. And in emergencies, that's going to be something that we desperately need as a way to preserve any fresh produce that we grow. So I stocked up on mustard seed because I've been using a lot of it. And next here I've got some different batteries. So these are just 9-volt batteries. We just needed some of these. We needed to restock. Mostly we use these in our smoke detectors and things like that, which we definitely need to. October is usually the time of year that people go through and replace those batteries. And we're getting up close to that time of year, so I grabbed a pack of these. This is 8 of the 9-volt batteries. I've never tried this brand before. Hopefully it will be good. And then I have a pack of storm-proof matches. These are a little bit different than the waterproof matches that I got a few weeks ago. These are longer and thicker, and they're probably more waterproof and more storm-proof. But I have a couple of cases that these can go into that I can refill, and I just like having these on hand. Many ways to start a fire is important to have. A lot of different ways to start a fire, and that's the one thing that in any emergency we're probably always going to have, no matter what. If you run out of other fuel, you will probably be able to find wood and sticks and tinder and things to build a fire. Now I've got some Amazon Basics batteries. These are AA's, 100 AA's. Of course, you want to have batteries on hand for all of your different flashlights, radios, things like that. I have been buying these Amazon Basics batteries for quite a while. I have been very happy with them. I found them to have the best price on batteries for the most part, even compared to things like Sam's Club and places like that. Next, I've got 4 cans of the Keystone ground beef. These are 28-ounce cans, so this is a lot of ground beef. Canned ground beef is always going to have a little bit of a different texture. I definitely prefer freeze-dried ground beef over canned, but as canned ground beef goes, this is actually really good. This has a better texture than what I can myself, and I use this in a lot of shelf-stable recipes. I do meals in a bag where all the ingredients you need are canned and shelf-stable in the bag. Just grab the bag, throw together the ingredients, and you have a meal. Besides meals in a jar, that's another way that we like to have emergency meals ready to go. So I use these quite a bit. And this was another really great deal on our Wicked Prepared Prepping Deals and Steals group. I know a lot of people were able to get this deal, which was awesome. So back here, I have got some plain white rice, just long grain white rice. You can see I've got 2 bags there. They're 2 50-pound bags from Sam's Club. So basically, I've got 100 pounds of white rice here. I think white rice is one of the most important basics that you can have in your prepper pantry. I really like to have a lot of this on hand. It will store for a very long time. This can store for 25 to 30 years if you package it up properly. So I will put this into Mylar bags with oxygen absorbers. It is just such a good base for your prepper pantry because you can cook this rice and you can use it to mix with things, to put under things. You can use this to extend meals and make your meals last longer. And it's very inexpensive. It lasts a very long time, and it's pretty hypoallergenic. It's very rare for people, animals to be allergic to rice. This can also be used to extend out animal food if you needed to in an emergency. So basically you can use things like this white rice, things like pasta, to stretch the more expensive but more nutritious ingredients like these. And that's a good way to build out a prepper pantry. I've got some more freeze-dried ingredients over here. I have got some more of the smaller pantry cans. This is basically a beef gravy mix. Espagnole is what it's called, fancy French name. It's one of the mother sauces. This is really tasty, and this is really great for meals in a jar and just putting meals together. This could take some of these meats and vegetables and this rice and kind of really pull it together into an actual tasty meal with a sauce or a gravy like this. And I use these in a lot of meals. For instance, the beef stroganoff soup that I mentioned I just made as a meal in a jar. I use this. I use this in a pork, green chili, a meal in a jar that I made. Really tasty sauce. And scrambled egg powder. This is a basic that I feel like everyone should have in their prepper pantry. It's such a basic ingredient and such a basic food. It's so healthful. Eggs are full of protein and a lot of other nutrients. They're necessary for a lot of things like baking. You know, even if you have cake mixes and things like that, you need some eggs to go with those. This one is one that tastes very good cooked as scrambled eggs. You can eat it just as eggs and you don't even know the difference. If you've tried some other brands of powdered eggs, they might be great for baking, but they don't taste so good eaten on their own. This one really does taste good. And the ingredients are basically only egg. Whole eggs, yolk, and dried egg whites with glucose removed. So there's nothing added to this besides the eggs. I did get a case of this as well, which is 6 of these gallon-sized cans. Each of these cans has 103 servings, so this is basically over 600 servings of eggs. I've never bought a whole case of these before because they are a more expensive item, but I definitely didn't want to run out. The prices of eggs are going up again. The prices of eggs have skyrocketed in my store, and our ducks and chickens are slowing down on their laying because it's that time of year. So it's just always a good thing to have on hand. And then I got some blackberries. This was also because this was on sale, and it is a nutritious fruit that we can use these for snacking, but I really like to use them in baking, like pies, and I like to use them in things like yogurt parfaits and chia puddings and things like that. And then back here behind all this stuff, I do have 4 big packs of toilet paper. They're going all the way across the back of the island there. So these are 30 packs of the mega rolls, supposed to equal 120 regular rolls. It's hard to tell. I have a hard time with toilet paper because it's really difficult, I find, to compare the prices between the brands and the stores because all the rolls are different sizes, different numbers of sheets, different sizes of sheets, single ply, double ply, so many different variables. But I do believe that this pack from Walmart, this is the best deal, even when I've compared it to places like Sam's Club, maybe unless they put theirs on sale. And then I've also got a couple packs of paper towels. I think these sparkle paper towels are usually a pretty good deal. I got these off of Amazon. They've got a good price on them. I have them on my subscribe and save. But paper products, we all know why we need to have paper products on hand. We can all remember back to 2020 when everyone was crazy for toilet paper. So definitely buy it when it's not in high demand and have plenty of it stocked up on hand. And don't let your supply dwindle. I think a lot of people will buy a whole lot, and I'm even guilty of this sometimes. Buy a lot and then wait till it's almost gone to replenish. Well, what if something happened when your supply was really low? So I like to pick an amount that I feel comfortable with. How much toilet paper or rice or whatever do I want to make sure I always have on hand? And I restock when I get down to that level, not when I get down to, almost nothing. And then the final thing I have here, I've got some up here and some down on the other side of the paper towels, just where I could fit them. I've got some more freeze-dried food. These are not long-term items like the cans. The cans will last for 25 years. These bags will usually only last for a couple of years, but I buy these more for the kids' snacks than I do for long-term. The kids love snacking on these, and with back to school, they always want something they can grab and take with them. So this one is strawberries. If you do buy these Snackies pouches, you might have noticed that a lot of them have been out of stock lately. They are redoing their whole process for these because they have always been, the bags have been filled by hand. And it's just getting to the point that that's too much for the amount that they're selling. So they are redoing their packaging process. So anything that goes out of stock is not going to come back in stock until they get that all sorted out, their packaging and their filling process. But they still had strawberries in stock, and my kids absolutely love these. There are 3 servings in one of these packages, and they do reseal, so if they don't eat it all, they can just keep it in their backpack sealed up. But they can also probably eat this whole thing in one sitting if they wanted to. Oh, and I do have one final thing I almost forgot about over here. I have got cotton swabs, Q-tips, whatever you want to call them. I've got 6 of those, 6 packages of the Q-tips. To me, that's a necessity. I need to have these for certain things, basically cleaning my ears. But I do not feel right if I don't have them. So I try to make sure that we are not going to run out. So I've got 6 packs of those. And I do have 1 bottle of lotion. That is another thing that is non-negotiable for me. I feel like that's a necessity. I need to have it to feel right. I don't like having dry hands. I don't like having dry skin. I usually use it mostly on my hands, but I do like to keep a lot on hand. I just bought 1 this time, but we have a lot already. So this was just a small restock. If you're interested in learning more about long-term, shelf-stable freeze-dried food, how to use it, and why it's so amazing for your prepper pantry, the top freeze-dried food company in the country is going to be holding a couple of learning events in September, and Wicked Prepared is going to be there. We will be in Utah on September 14th and Philadelphia on September 21st. These events are completely free. Lunch is going to be provided, tons of info, demonstrations, and giveaways. So if you live near or can get yourself to either of those areas, we would love to meet you. Check the description box below the video for more information, or text Utah or Philly to my number that you'll see right here at the bottom of your screen, and I'll send it your way. Leave me a comment down below and let me know, what is the biggest or most likely threat you're preparing for, and how you're doing with your journey to being better prepared. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave me a medical emoji down in the comments and check out this video next to see the trauma kit I put together. I'm Jara with Wicked Prepared. Survive today, thrive tomorrow. We'll see you next time.